Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Podcast Winterfell. Today, we'll be covering feedback and theories for Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. Podcast Winterfell is part of the DVR Podcast Network. You can find us at dvrpodcast.com and podcastwinterfell.com. This week, we got 9 messages from our Podcast Winterfell friends, and you too can email us with your feedback over at podcastwinterfell@gmail.com. Well, the finale's approaching, so I'm sure you got a lot to say and we want to hear from you. So let's jump right in. I'm your host, Tim Hines, and today I have a very special guest. You might have heard him on a crossover podcast with Axel Foley and Justin, but this is his first official, strictly Podcast Winterfell debut, Johnny Be Crazy. Welcome, Johnny. Tell our friends out there a bit about you and how they can find you on the interwebs.
First off, thank you so much, Tim, for having me on. It is an honor to be on Podcast Winterfell. And yes, you can find me at Johnny Be Crazy on YouTube, the Twitter, Johnny Be Crazy, capital JBC, on the Instagram, Johnny Be Crazy. Other than that, I'm really into the books, Fire and Blood, super into the show. Really like to get a little theoretical about it, down the philosophical road. So that's my route. Take it or leave it. I think you'll enjoy it. I like to put a little humor in there as well, man. So we'll have a little fun tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right up my alley because, Axel always complains, I'm too much humor, so we'll bring it. I like it. So, yeah, we got a lot of good feedback tonight. We got 9, like I said, and I got a cool little game from our friend Matt Murdoch, that little feedback thing that he had me do. So I did that for him. We'll finish the show with that. And, we're kind of a little bit tuckered out from all the talk this week. It's been a little crazy, ups and downs and complaints from last week, this week. But I think overall, we got to put our feelings on hold and just talk about it. So a lot of things that maybe happen to do with feelings, me personally, I'm going to direct away from, but they might come through in some of these feedbacks, and I'll try to convey them for them. But for me, I'm putting a little bit of, I don't want to say just faith in them that they'll finish strong, and if not, I'll be bitching in 2 weeks. So, excuse me. You know what? I'm going to take a sip out of my Game of Thrones cup here from Shake Shack.
Love it.
All right. So we got Colo Don. I've seen lots of talk about Missandei's death as it affects other characters like Daenerys and Grey Worm. But there's something intangible about her character that I really mourn. Not because of Grey Worm or Dany, but because of who she was and what her life represented. I can't write a fully researched biography of her, but I always found her character extremely endearing. Kudos to Nathalie Emmanuel. I think it's like Natalie, but Nathalie. I hope I said it right. Nathalie Emmanuel for her great performance. For me, Missandei represented a kind of purity of spirit that is rare in the show. She has suffered under slavery, and with her freedom, chose to serve her queen with her impeccable mastery of the spoken word. She made it possible for Daenerys to effectively communicate with her own people. She dedicated her life to being a bridge between cultures. She dared to love the unlovable, Grey Worm of the Unsullied, nameless, faceless, mindless, child of murdering killers, taught suffering and cruelty as long as taught suffering and cruelty as long as he has known himself, mutilated and inhumanly stoic. She was the birth of emotion in him. He learned why his life is so precious. She taught him love, and in doing so, also taught him fear. She taught him what it meant to be human. She taught him the common tongue, and we watched it and listened as he improved, a reflection of her excellence as an educator. Well, the reason I'm not not stopping because this whole thing is beautiful. So if it's winded because it's beautiful. So I'm going to continue. But she, like Daenerys, doesn't belong in Westeros. She did not like Westeros. She saw no home there. She saw the cruelty of the masters all over in Westeros, and where she would, I'm sorry, where, the masters. She saw the cruelty of the masters all over again in Westeros, where slavery had been proudly eradicated long ago. She would be chained once again, and she would die that way. All this time, she had been a pacifist, a peaceful person from a peaceful culture. She has shown no disdain. She has shown her disdain for the masters in very muted tones until now. But in her final moments, the injustice, the anger, the loss of hope was the birth of rage in Missandei. The only joke she knew was about a translator on a sinking ship who can shout for help in 19 languages but can't swim to save their own life. Amidst the failure of communication to resolve the conflict, she, the linguist, would be the first to die, the death of diplomacy. She defined this moment in Westerosi history. It was the moment when Missandei of Nath, at the very end, finally said no more and chose violence. Her last words were the last word that would ever pass between these deadly adversaries. The correct High Valyrian pronunciation of Dracarys. R.I.P. Missandei. Season 3, Episode 1, Season 8, Episode 4. Portrayed by Nathalie Emmanuel, a true professional. Don Colo. That was
Yeah.
gorgeous. I read it like 3 times going over this, and I don't have much to say that other like to add or like to knock on that. It was perfect. It described her perfectly and just really enhanced what I come to know as her character.
Yeah, again, it is beautiful. I would just add that you have the poisonous butterfly of Noth, which is the island where Missandei comes from. Um, it stings and kills you, but it's very, very beautiful and kind of with her dying words. And if I could be wrong, but I think that the butterfly dies after. No, but the poisonous butterfly is amazing, and it goes back to Grey Worm and Missandei talking in Winterfell as well about her people being a peaceful people, and she's going against that for love. And it, to me, it's like the last innocent thing in this world we have dying, I guess, except for what, Baby Sam, and I guess you could say Gilly's innocent, but it's not. There's not many innocent people in this world. And I think that's some beautiful symbolism that humanity is basically destroying itself right here. Doesn't need the Night King to destroy it, right?
Yep, and it was at times we saw Missandei kind of push Danny towards more force than diplomacy, but not overboard. But then, like, Danny kind of thought about it and would pull back, and she taught that restraint a little bit to Missandei. So, like, she kind of took that over, and you could see how she like really started using that more. And with this new world, was very timid and didn't want to stir things up, and made one comment that was kind of like you know in Danny's defense when they were like, oh, what are we doing? And she's like, she saved us, like at that dinner, and I think before the battle. And it's just, she is like the great reflection. Like, she was saved, had the chance to leave, and decided to stick around, join the team, help out, and in the end, it all was for nothing basically. So she's like, fuck them all, Dracarys, and burn them all. So you know that whole what he said was beautiful, Don Dolo Khan. But you know, is this going to be the push, the inspiration that sets Danny off?
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Lannisters are coming up, man. It's gonna be extra crispy. And Phantom of Saint's definitely worried about Cersei dying. Phantom of Saint, you got to come on Monday. Look, I hope Cersei doesn't die, but I got to see that reaction. Ouch. I do think, yeah, that's just a beautiful character. Horrible ending, but it's a Game of Thrones ending, right?
It really is. Oh yeah. So I mean, I would love to keep going on Missandei, but everything you said was perfect. So unless you want to add to Missandei, maybe we could move on. And you could try out Kara's email.
Yeah, yeah. To beats. Oh, the Kara. Yeah. We can go on to that one because I mean, Colo Don. My goodness, that was fantastic. I don't even want to ruin that, right? Kara has a good question here. There are 12 White Walkers at the Battle of Winterfell. There are also 12 standing around the altar in season 4 when the Night King changes Craster's last son. Craster had 99 sons he sacrificed to the Night King. Where are they all? Is this a massive plot hole, or was that just the beginning of the threat to come? I'm hoping there's more story to tell about the White Walkers. Hmm. I do have a thought about this. What do you think?
I don't know because originally we got that first shot of the army, the Knight's army lining up. The I guess episode 2, uh, when they were all looking at the army, and it looked like it went down for miles, and it looked like it was could have been 99 of them, and then we don't see 99. We see the main 12, and it's like I think we see even less actually, like in the final battles. So I had often wondered, were they even Craster's sons? Were they able to rapidly age? Like, because they had that ZZ Top, long hair and wrinkly skin. Like, how could they get like that? I mean, with maybe the weather, I understand, but it seems off that 2 years ago Craster gave a baby up, and we see how slow baby Sam grows. So they're from the same line. It's not like they're flying in rapid growth.
Yeah, the one baby that was made too. I know that baby hasn't grown up yet. And you see the differences between the White Walkers. Some do have the beards like you're saying, some are almost clean shaven, some look a little younger. It's hard to tell because they're White Walkers. But I think this is the point. When that Night King died, I think the one we saw that got turned, I think they just turned into the next Night King. People were looking for the dragon glass in the Night King's heart. One thing I noticed from the Dragonstone caves that the last Night King had a big long beard in there, which was interesting. So it makes you think there's definitely this revolving cycle, and I wouldn't put it past them to just give us a shot at the Night King, just being a cyclical thing. I don't think we're going to get answers because they're saving that for the prequel, unfortunately. But yay prequel.
I mean, I hope it's that the prequel where they're headed. But someone had pointed out to me too, and I just chalked it up to like maybe makeup or whatnot. But one of the seasons we see the Night King versus this season when we see the Night King, the faces were a little different. Um, I just kind of laughed it off to makeup, but going off of what you're saying, I mean that makes sense. Like, and if so, where are they? Like, are they in a hold, like growing? Like, how does it? Like, there's got to be a lot of them. Like, there was a lot of women in Craster's Keep, and he gave, obviously they said 99 sons in what we believe is a 20-year period.
I and the young ones, they didn't just sprout like weeds and grow next to the night. I think there has to be a backup plan. He's not going to go running in there full bore, knowing that there's a risk. The Night King knew there was a risk. He wouldn't have took all those people with him if he thought it was going to be easy. So you would think he would have a backup plan, and it's just this revolving cycle of nature fighting back that they can't really defeat except for what, 1,000 years at a time or whatever. Nobody really knows the exact time because the timelines are murky. They say it's about 1,000 years, but it could be 600. It could be more than 1,000. So, because German likes to write it like real history is. It's kind of murky, especially with going back that many years. There wasn't a lot of technology, so to speak. See, we're getting too deep into this. I'll just rant forever.
No, because that does play into it, because there's a lot of things that come into that time, because like, what do they say, like that I forget the name, the scorpion, that was the name of the bow, right? They say that was like one of the first inventions in like 20 years or so, like, or like, there hadn't been a lot of technological advances, so it's very slow, and I can see that being a part of this, like how everything's slowed down, um and we're seeing, like over time, how nothing really changes too much.
Yeah, it seems that well, the Maesters are trying to progress further there. The show kind of messed up with the Scorpion because back during Aegon's conquest, right afterwards, Meraxes and Rhaenys was killed with a Scorpion bolt to the eye. Though a lot of people have made some very valid points about Rhaegal getting shot with the Scorpions. Not even the fact that they're what do you call them, physics defying, but the fact that Rhaegal's scales are supposed to be hard as steel, especially on the underbelly. But hey, we're getting semantical here. I
Yeah,
do
I
think
think.
it was still killed me when I saw him go down, even though I was like screaming because Danny, they were in this state of they just defeated the end of the world. You're not really thinking about an attack right here. You even had Grey Worm holding Missandei's hand, which now I think about I cry. Oh.
uh,
But yeah.
yeah, like somebody showed, like I guess it was going on the internet all week, a clip of Grey Worm like off scene with Missandei dancing, and like I didn't even want to watch it because it was like, damn, like knowing they're even friends or off screen, it's like that hurts. Like to know even your on screen partner got hurt and got killed, and your friends. I don't know. I was like, I still want to feel the more. I want to mourn still. I didn't want to be happy yet. But you know the way what you said with George, the way he writes it, how it's over a long time. It it sort of plays into how our history is. Like history really is only told by the victors, or the people who escape, or the people who overcome a certain thing and overthrow their captors, or like somehow it's told in a way framing the person who's telling it, like their uh, vision and their perception of it. So there's no one actually like dictating these things. So like these are all, and writing, I don't know how long in Westerosi, like that was invented. So that could have, just been word of mouth stories for many, many, many generations until they, the Citadel decided to start writing books down.
Yeah, supposedly the Andals brought over writing. The first men had runes on rocks that can't be deciphered, but I think the maesters aren't telling people what they say. They control that information.
Is that what?
It hasn't been long though, a couple thousand years at the most, and that's a blink in time, and it could be way less than that. That there's actually been formal writing there, and to your point, not that many people even write or read, right? Like you have even the lords and ladies, only a few select of them, few select read and write. You have people like Sansa, like Sandor Clegane, grew up in a decent house. He's never read or write. There's a few other people in the show that I can't think of in examples, but it's even now it's still a lot of it's word of mouth and what people tell you those letters say and who writes them. There's a lot of propaganda in there.
Exactly. And even when people read them, they usually, like on screen, they're holding them up and they're reading it to someone. They're not like putting it down. Look, Jon Snow wrote this. They could tell you whatever they want. So that's, you know, something that sometimes people get real semantical, and I'm like, but always remember, it's, even I never read the books, but I know how they're written. It's all POV style, right? Most of it, and
Mhm.
which is still people telling people tales. Like there's no like perfect narrators like giving us definition that this is canon and this is like this. It's really still just people conveying different things to other people. So the game of telephone that I'm sure everybody's familiar with when your kids playing, things get messed up.
Yeah, it's exactly like that in the books. Down to Sansa thinks the Hound kissed her in the room during the Battle of the Blackwater near the end of the books. Like she misremembers it that much. It's crazy. It's like real life. That's what I love about the books and the show in general. The Game of Thrones. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, of course. Like, we're in high school. Might have had a friend who got into a fight and either won or got a butt kicked or her butt kicked. And through the years now, that story's evolved. Either they, came home with the Intercontinental Belt Championship, or they were in the hospital and the helivac there. It was such a bad fight. Like you just things take a mind of their own, and unless somebody's there to check you all the time, you know, it could be believable. But all right, so let's move on. We got this email from John Lee, and it's kind of a little bit of what the community's been putting out there in his email, conveyed a little bit better. But I think it's kind of funny as well. But we'll talk about it after I read it. So let's go. This is from John Lee. We've been through a lot during these 8 seasons. When the Red Wedding occurred, I gathered some duct tape, found my goddamn jaw somewhere in the bathroom, and said loudly, "I'm done. Screw this show. Everybody I like is dead." I said kind of sort of the same thing during episode 4 when John doesn't even pat Ghost on the head as he takes off down the King's Road. Aaron from the Bald Move nailed it when he suggested that if he knew a friend that raised a dog from a pup and passed it on to his frat buddy as he left with his new girlfriend, he'd beat the heck out of him. I was cussing everybody out like Eddie Murphy in a Queens barbershop. Screw you, screw you, screw you. Listen, I got Queen's finest shirt on right here. That's right, baby. Queen's. I'm glad he made that reference in the email. But back to his email. Hell, I may risk losing my hot wife and kids just to adopt a puppy this week. I mean, I'm going to pause real quick. Like, I don't know why you lose a hot wife and kids with a puppy. I mean, that's just, and if you do, I mean, you puppy gets you another hot wife and eventually
Yeah,
kids.
the
But
kids are like the puppy though,
yeah,
right?
right. No, go for the puppy anyway. Um, I wouldn't get a diet wolf because they don't really come around much. Oh, sorry.
You
All
get their
right.
ears bit off.
Hey. Anyway, this episode was frozen roller coaster on tracks from hell. People are getting titles and land. People are getting drunk. Pod is back to laying the fat pipe. Tyrion is drunk playing games like everybody else, drunk playing games. And then we have the surprising, not surprising, backhanded Bronn bushwhacking. I think we all thought Bronn was going to roll in there, give a scare to the brothers lion, sit down and drink himself into a song. Nope. He rolls in hard, being all about the business. I felt that the little ground we gathered through positive events were almost nullified by other negative events. More deaths, too tragic. The next episode would be our episode 9, and the shit is going to fly into the wall. Who off Cersei? Does Cersei off King's Landing? Do we lose the third dragon? Does the dragon of King's Landing? Does the dragon off King's Landing? Does Jamie star in a Sister Squid porn scene? Wow. I don't know, but I'm all about. I'm about to poop a purple egg roll in anticipation. Hold on, I don't know, but I'm about to poop a purple egg roll in anticipation. We'll see Sunday. Take it easy, John Lee. Fantastic email.
Oh goodness.
I mean, we got a lot of questions. I got his wit, his a little bit of sarcasm in what the show is putting us through here. Um, I feel with Axel about the ghost stuff. I know book readers are real tight with the wolves. Um, so I can't really say much about the wolves. I had no real attachment to them. If you want to jump in with the wolves, that's on you.
Well, I mean, okay, Ghost is an extension of John. In the books, John's a warg. We don't have to have that. We do need to see either if he's not bonding with John, I need to see him bond with Bran. To yesterday, I had to throw something out there, but I think it's kind of a tragedy, but I don't think we've seen the last of Ghost. Remember, Bran is still at Winterfell. He is of the old gods, and Ghost is a representation of the old gods as well, with the white fur and the red eyes. So I think if we do see Bran warg anything besides ravens, it might be Ghost at some point. Wishful thinking on my part, maybe, but a boy can dream, can't he? As far as this episode and everybody being messed up by episode 4 emotionally, I feel you, but I do think this next one coming up is going to be the Red Wedding episode of the season. Episode 5 is. So put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend and we were saying, what do you want? What do you want to see? And she's answered, and she's asked me the same thing. And I said, I'd actually like to see some mayhem. I want to see things crazy. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing something from Ghost that does something peculiar, or Nymeria coming back with that whole pack and doing something to help Arya, or some third party faction that we didn't even know existed coming to play a part and fucking everybody up. Like, I want to see something really peculiar. Like, we even going back to how we were talking about the Night King crash their babies. Maybe there's a backup army. Maybe there's some other shit. They're gonna come back, raise their hands, and boom, they all come back again. Like, there's so many cool things that can happen that I probably won't get, but I would like it. In the same way the book readers want the direwolves so much. I want to see something wild. I want to know where, what Missandei conjured up when she left. Not Missandei, I'm sorry, Melisandre, when she left. Like, what the guys with grayscale could possibly do. Like, what Pyat Pri, is he still lurking, and his magic. Like, there's so many things that could still come about.
I think so. He's been living in the past, in my opinion. He's been going through Targaryen kings. He went to Daeron Targaryen, the first major king without a dragon, known as the Young Dragon. And one of his quotes is, "A dragon stands before you." When asked how to conquer Dorne, we've had Prince of Dorne brought up. I don't think we might not see him, but I think that's brought up as a hint to what's going on with maybe the last Targaryen without a dragon. So the death of dragons, unfortunately, which we see happening anyway. Yeah, throw that Funko Pop out so BBM can get a Woody.
Yeah, no, it's I with a lot of these deaths, like you said, like it could be a Red Wedding type thing. I've been waiting for a lot of more tidying up earlier on. Like, so I'm actually welcoming some wildness. And at this point, I've untied myself to a lot of characters where, like, I was clinging on. I'm like, yeah, I want this. At this point, anything can happen, and I gotta just roll with it because I don't want to be like upset. I want to go out of this show and be like, holy shit! I still want to keep my posters up and I still want to have all my cool stuff and like I don't, I love it. So that's I'm ready for uh, another wedding of a different color.
Yeah, and then yeah, we'll I guess I'm trying to think of what wedding will. I think we're gonna see some type of ceremony with Tyrion and Sansa. As much as that'll probably make people gag, I don't mind it so much. I do think Tyrion will be the king in the end if he doesn't die coming up. Going back to the crypts of Winterfell talk and just everything leading up to this. There's so much with them. Varys talking about Tyrion should be the, how good of a ruler he is. In the books, Tyrion's shadow stands tall as a king. He stands tall as a king sometimes. It's mentioned a lot. And then we get like I said, with the crypts, the reuniting. The we could do something if we were up there. I think that's kind of what's going to play out here at the Battle of King's Landing. Maybe, maybe not. As far as Bran, I see Bran being the king here. My buddy John Del Vento, music producer extraordinaire, has that same thought. He thinks so too. I don't know if everyone's going to die, Joe Mova, but I think almost everyone's going to probably die. That's a good thought there. Bran would be the creepiest king ever. That's all I got to say to that. But hey.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be weird. He would really wouldn't talk much to anybody. Like even the hand would just be watching. Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
So
Tyrion is hardcore in the books before, no doubt. He's like double hardcore fun. Where were we? Oh, I know there's something else that I missed. Okay, there we go. So, as far as the dragon, yeah, I think Dany's gonna burn down King's Landing. She's gonna burn down everything that she's working towards. Something's gonna. She's, I would say, kind of gonna snap here. She's off, stuck on Dragonstone. Rhaenyra Targaryen parallels to me. She's very, very paranoid. You have the two betrayers. I feel like I've said this a bunch, but you have the two betrayers. She's not going to trust everyone around her. She's not going to trust Tyrion right now because Cersei just let him live. Why? She's already had these seeds in her head thinking that Tyrion was helping Cersei this whole time. And has he been? I don't think so, but he is scared of Dany, and for good reason. Right here, Dany has lost everything she's ever hoped to ever loved, everything that's ever really loved her besides Jon, and then her throne is not really her throne anymore. I would go a little crazy right now. I would burn it. Let's burn this mofo down. I would do it.
that's it. Like she has that look. Like she doesn't even care. Like even what Tyrion said, she doesn't care about anybody there. She cares about the baby. Jaime comes back. We don't know what he's gonna do. He comes back. It might be like on her side, and then she might see him and then turn on Euron and not give a fuck because he did his job. Like, and then somehow basically figure out how to get some money to pay Bank of Bravos. I don't know, but it's cool. You know what? I apologize to everybody in the chat. I didn't have it open this whole time, and I see you answering. I appreciate you picking up on that, Johnny.
Yeah.
I just popped it open.
I do like 7 streams a week.
Yeah,
They're tired of seeing my face, probably.
You're good at this. You're good at this. People, I see you guys, got this down pat. We're still a little, aren't getting things fine tuned.
Man, you don't ever want it to be too perfect because you lose that natural feel. So you gotta have a squeaky chair like I do just to counterbalance the awesomeness. I'm just kidding. But what do you think about Jaime? As far as in this question, what do you think Jaime's going to do? Do you think he's going down there to protect his sister? I kind of do because she is pregnant with his baby. supposedly, I think Cersei's pregnant. I know some people still don't believe that. The talisman around her belly and her going back to Lannister colors proves this to me. And also passing it off on Euron. I think Jaime wants to protect her from Euron, mainly.
Uh,
Not necessarily Danny.
well, this kind of ties in with Jim's. Uh, he brought it up a little bit. Jim from Canada, he sent us an email. So I'm gonna just mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna read this part. Because he says, Jaime says he's hateful like Cersei, but I think he means he's hateful in the sense that he wants to kill her, right? So I do and I don't, because at the same time, what you're saying is like the jealousy thing. Like, he just had sex with probably the second different person in his life. He might have guilt. Then hearing that they didn't get wiped out gives him that, like, holy shit, did I make a mistake? I love her still. You know, I could see all these are like real emotions, but we wouldn't have this scale, but I could see these types of things happening. Like, you know what? I hope she, I hope she moves away. The girl you just broke up with, and you just had sex with another girl, and you feel guilty. And the next day you find out that the ex girl's not moving away. Now you're gonna try to go back together with the ex girl because you don't want her talking to the high school quarterback next door. Trying to relate it in our terms because we don't have King Castles and King's Landing here, but so it's so hard. And I said last week on the call in on the roundtable rather that I thought maybe what he did to Brienne was like the Harry and the Henderson move, where he's like, when he slaps her, slaps Harry, and he's like, "You go into the woods. We don't like you anymore." Like, instead of breaking her heart, like he had to like make it look like he's the bastard. Like, so, but he might really be the bastard. It's so tough. So tough. Now, I kind of always been have reminding people that Jamie's a scumbag, and when he said that whole piece to Brienne last week, well, the episode 3 rather, yeah, no, it was this week when he tells her that whole thing about the list of shit he did, like pushing the kid out the window and sleeping with his sister and all the killing his cousin. I've been reminding people that this whole time that they're like, "Oh, Jamie's coming on this redemption path and he's great." I'm like, he's still a scumbag deep down. I'm like, if you do any of these things in real life, like, to me, like, I'm probably not fucking with you, like, no matter what. Like, even if, like, I don't know, I see you 20 years later and you're all straightened out. Like, I can't get past that. Like, I'm thinking about like you just pushing a kid out a window. Like, it doesn't work for me. So I don't know how people can like really latch on to this Jamie redemption thing. So to me, it makes sense that he goes back for Cersei.
Jamie's like the penultimate gray character. He has good and bad traits, and he's the only thing I would say about Jamie is that he's pretty much the same person. He's just admitted to himself who he was, and he actually let himself love another woman in Brienne. Even from the beginning, especially in the books, he has these thoughts that he doesn't want to think about. He keeps trying to tell himself how ugly she is, and it's actually very, very hilarious. Um, we do got to remember he was super drunk when they slept together too. Nobody really says that. Like, they were so wasted, Jamie couldn't even talk. I'm not saying that I do think Jamie loves her, but I don't think he can get over this bond with Cersei that he's had since in the womb, and they've been finagling together since they were like 12 years old. So there's a thing there, and they're coming into this world together, and they're going to go out of this world together. And I think that it's not going to be so much as Jamie's going there to kill her. There's going to be a talk. There's going to be some crying over this baby, and then he's going to have to kill her to save to try to save King's Landing. I don't think it's going to work, but he's going to have to kill her to save people, just the same way he killed Ares the Second, probably. That, or Jamie tries to put her on a boat and get her out of there, which I doubt. But that BBM would like that.
Well, Jim writes also, like, with this thing that he writes Jamie kills Cersei, right? The mountain kills Jamie, Hound fights the mountain. It's I could see it a little differently, like almost like a domino thing. Like the mountain's gonna kill Jamie, so the Hound like comes in to kill the mountain, saves Jamie, but then the mountain's trying to kill Cersei. Jamie's fighting, and somehow he just says "fuck it" and kills Cersei, and lets him get killed too. Like I could see like a domino thing happening, like a huge compaction of all these revenge type like things we wanted to happen come in like one package.
So Jamie, Arya, and the Hound going into the sewers of King's Landing. Arya and the Hound fighting the mountain, and Jamie having fun with his sister, doing that tentacle stuff with him and Euron. I think Jamie's going after Euron. Truth be told, I think something's going to happen that he's inevitably probably going to cause the death of Cersei. It'd be even worse if he accidentally killed her at this point. To me, like he screwed up, but
it's. I mean, it almost. Looking at it in Jim's email like this and the way we're talking, it almost seems too good, too perfect. Like it's like there's a bow for it, and George doesn't do like bows and shit. So it seems like something like they'll maybe be fighting and like an earthquake will happen and they'll all fall in a pit and die. Like it's
the
just
wildfire blows up.
Or Robin Aaron comes out and slaughters everybody.
Oh, earlier I said, he's gonna come in with dual flaming Valyrian steel swords, do like 13 cartwheels, 5 back handsprings, and a double somersault, and just cut off Harry Strickland's head and take over the army. He is Azor Ahai reborn, and then he will kill Cersei, and then retreat to the Iron Throne, where he is. I think he's 6'6", 280 now, so he's rivaling the mountain in strength and fortitude.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, Tormund, you don't need giant's milk to get this big. I had my mother's milk till I was 9.
Oh gosh, man, that's poor kid.
Yeah, like where is he? Like he doesn't even have like Royce around. Royce was like would have been a good influence.
I think if there's anything left of them, Sansa's gonna do something, make a play, send some folks. All right, Brienne's gonna go after Jamie. Tormund's gonna follow Brienne. I don't think we've seen the end of these people. I don't think they're gonna twiddle their thumbs. And Sansa's not gonna just sit around and let the Game of Thrones be played without Ladyfinger being in there. Everybody's calling Sansa Ladyfinger now.
What would be real funny is if like Sansa, you see her like go to sleep, and then you see like Brienne like thinking about Jamie, she leaves, and then you see like everybody get up and start leaving and like making their way to King's Landing. Sansa wakes up. Where the fuck is everybody? She's in Winterfell all alone. She's like, fuck, they all left.
Poor Sansa.
Oh
yeah. So yeah, that's in here too, to Jim from Canada. We might need to get on that one, and then we can, because the Sansa part's in there too. Oh man, we got some good combo going
here. Yeah, Jim had some good stuff here. So Jim from Canada, he's been calling in on the round tables for a while. He called in on the fan calling. He's big friend of the show, so appreciate you sending us that email, Jim. And good points there, good points, and I hope you get some of what you wanted. Right now, a buddy of mine on Facebook, when I put the call out for some feedback, he just put a question, and he wanted to know if the undead couldn't break through the wooden box when they presented it to Cersei, why could they start breaking through all the concrete in the crypts?
I got the answer to that.
Excellent. I was hoping so.
Yeah. The wood that the box is made out of is Valyrian wood.
Oh my god.
No, this is a
Are you serious?
This is a continuity error, right?
Thank
You
God.
could
I
argue
thought
that the concrete is weak because it's been there for hundreds of years, depending on which one busted open, but it's just a continuity error. I wish I had an answer
Valerian
for
wood.
that.
Yo, that's awesome. Yo, you got me because I'm like, is there really Valerian wood in the book? I'm like, maybe, and now I feel like a fool. My 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 take was that the closer the Night King got to the Godswood and Bran, the stronger that magic and power is. And I feel like the further away it got, the weaker the that is. So possibly, you know, maybe that's why. Um, it's very hard to tell. And Joe Mova, uh, in the chat, me and him were talking a couple weeks ago, and that scene when Hodor was spinning around, whacking them. I think it was season 3 or 4. No, it was 4. When they were north of the wall, and Asha was there, they came up out of the ground, and he starts
Mhm.
whacking them all. They didn't have any dragon glass. They didn't have any Valerian steel, and they were poof. They were like they were able to get the break free. So it put like a bit of, like you said, maybe continuity error, or maybe different levels of the whites even deeper.
I'm trying to remember, but I think Mira had dragon glass.
Did
But you
Sam
can
give it?
still, like, cut them in half and stuff, but they'll still be crawling towards you, kinda like, that one. Um, but they busted up out of the ground really easy. The box thing, yeah, the only thing you could go with, is the wood. And you can go with Valyrian wood because it's awesome. But,
That's the answer we're going with.
I like what you're saying too about the magic being a little weaker the farther away it is from the source, and that makes sense as well. So maybe, um both things, because it was chained together, even though if you can bust through concrete, you might can bust through wood. Um, if it was a weirwood box, which it isn't, it would be white.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
closer
the
to
hardest wood,
concrete.
right?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, remember when Paya Pri took the dragons, and he said they needed them because their magic got stronger the closer they were to the dragons.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it could be similar situation. So I I like both, but I really like the Valerian wood.
Yeah, that's the best.
It really is a good answer, Tommy. I hope you listen
That's
and
what
you
that's
like.
what how Pod is so good, man. That's what Pod has got.
Oh, but bum bum, laying that Valerian wood. I mean, he's got that God's wood.
That's it. Oh,
Uh,
goodness. Um, so I don't remember where I was at.
yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, we pretty much Tommy just had that one question, so we nailed that. I'm gonna jump to Sandy's email. It's a short one. Sandy B, big fan of the show, contributor, always down with giving us some good stuff. But guess life got in the way, which it does for a lot of people, and we don't hold any ill will or begrudge you for not contributing, and we appreciate anything that you send in. So when you say sorry to start it off, it's unnecessary, but we appreciate you. So she writes, sorry, I'm behind a bit. There's so much going on right now. You you may have already heard this by now, but there are a couple of reasons being I'm sorry. There's a couple of reasons being posted about why Bran was in the Godswood to bait the Night King. First, Bran is more powerful there. Second, this is the one I favor most, is since the Night King was created tied to a werewood, that he had to be uncreated in front of a werewood. What do you think?
Maybe. I think we'll never get an answer, but that's a damn good thought. The rituals there, the signs you saw the Night King with Ned Umber as the child inside the spiral. That's the same thing of how the Night King basically got turned. He's just putting it up there. If you look at where he was turned when Bran saw him, it's a spiral symbol with the stones and a weirwood at the center, and that's where he had it pushed through his heart. Um, it would make sense. Bran is more powerful there, so maybe he can see events as they're happening better, right? He can see everything that's going on at one time when he's closer to the gods would. Even though when he's supposed to not even need them anymore once he develops his powers all the way, that would say to me that he hasn't even developed his powers yet, and what's going to happen when he does hit full potential. He's already creepy, so I, I I think that's the one of the best ways to put it. I also think he used the Warg the Ravens to boost the signal to so the Night King knew exactly where he was. Because when the Night King found him so quick, he was still warged into the root system of the Weirwoods. And as soon as he basically woke up, the Night King was outside. So that's a simple explanation. There could be a more magical one, but I don't think D&D are going to give us the answer.
No, I don't think so either. I see me at, I like that kind of stuff. I love, like, on the Blu-rays, the history and lore type things, and the little, like, what this would implicate. Like, I would love to see 2 episodes of this type of stuff, reasoning and history and why, just the creation. Like we saw in the caves in Dragonstone with all the writings on the wall. Then we saw Bran's visions. So we saw like tidbits. So we got like a sense of what it is, but it, it it's almost I wonder almost that we don't know. I wonder if nobody knows, like, because it's so foreign to them and it's been so long since anything like this has happened. Like, I wonder if Bran even doesn't have the right answers yet.
Well, also too, you don't want to know too much in a show and a book. If you have all the answers, it takes away from the mystery and the intrigue of it. So they're not going to give us everything, but I do think we're going to get a lot of these answers in the Long Night prequel. They're putting a lot into that. They've actually, I think they've taken away from some of the answers we'll get in this final season for it. So it better come out. It better be good.
All right.
And then, yeah.
So I haven't really been following. I haven't been into looking in, like, into all the reading of what they're supposedly going to make on the prequels. All I saw was that the one Cogman was working on got shut down. So
He left.
can you can you break that down a little bit?
It's still up from what I saw when I read the article. He actually isn't working on it anymore, but it's still in production. From what I've seen, they're supposed to start filming it after season 8 ends, pretty close afterwards.
So
And that's the
there's
Long
3
Night.
though, right?
Huh?
They're talking about 3 different things.
Yeah, you have
Projects.
the Long Night, you have Empire of Ash, which may be the one I'm most excited for. Is everything leading up to the doom of Valyria, so it's Valyria of old. So it's like Rome, if you've ever seen Rome on HBO, with dragons. So that's basically Jeremy has equated it to Rome during the time of
So
Julius Caesar.
we're gonna see Valyria.
I hope so if it gets pushed through. It looks like it's gonna make it for now. You know how that is with shows. If
Sure.
that
I
pilot
mean,
doesn't work out, then they'll can it. But
yeah.
there's so many fans that they're gonna do anything to make it work. There's too much money in it. So, and I
Uh,
don't know what the third one is. I think it's gonna be maybe the Age of Heroes, but that might be during the Long Night. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what the third one's gonna be. If anybody in the chat knows, let me know.
all right, cool. Yeah, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but like, uh, I stayed completely trailer free, spoiler free, everything free. I don't watch, screenshots of the filming, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I don't really get into any of that, because I feel like it skews my thought process on how we can talk about the show going forward. Like, I don't even watch at the end of the episode after the credits, next week's trailer. So I didn't want to really look too much into the prequel stuff just because I didn't want them to even like think like, oh, they're gonna go this way because of this. Like if they're gonna go John heavy or like John's father story, I'm gonna be like, well, John's probably more important than I'm thinking he is. So that's my logic behind not looking at that kind of stuff. But as of now, that's the most I know. So I appreciate you
Yeah, the
breaking that
only thing
down.
I could say is just we're not gonna get any answers to the Long Night or the Night King. That's about it. I don't know if other than that, you don't. It's pretty hush hush on exactly what's going on. And with the Long Night, they can make up a lot of stuff because of how the histories are, and it's very murky. So good or bad?
They can put lions, tigers, bears.
Oh my.
All right. So uh Sandy also goes on to say one last thing. If you go back and watch closely, you'll see that Bran has been nudging people in certain directions, like moving pieces on a chessboard to set up the demise of the Night King. One example is him giving the dagger to Arya in the first place. Bran has been doing a lot of that, but it's so internal, it's hard to see. So she that that observation is definitely apparent, and I often wonder, like the Night King kind of told him don't say, not the Night King, I'm sorry, the last three-eyed raven told him don't say anything, and what does he do? He like says something, and young Ned Stark turns around at that Tower of Joy, like he's not supposed to do this stuff, and if he didn't do that, he wouldn't have got touched by the Night King. So is Bran doing this stuff him on coincidental, or is he making things happen? Like is he controlling the world?
Well, in the cave, this was more him being curious, and Bloodraven knew this was going to happen. He said, "You touched it," and Bran was like, "No, he didn't touch me." When he was talking about the Night King, he was like, "He touched you. It happened sooner than expected. We have to hurry." Blah blah blah. So that's when he had to learn everything really fast. You get these visions of the burned down King's Landing, the Mad King burned them all. Seemingly, that makes you think about something different, right? We're just gonna have another Mad King because we thought it was about the White Walkers and the Night King, but maybe not. Maybe burn them all isn't about that.
Maybe it's like burning retail shops, burn them all.
Maybe.
Oh
Be right
man.
back. 2 seconds.
Boom boom. Yeah, I'm bad with jokes. I give good bad dad jokes, but I'm not even a dad. But yeah, this is going good so far. We got some really good emails. So Sandy, thank you for that. It's a good point to bring up. I appreciate that, and it's really cool to see that we got a bunch of people like came in the chat when really didn't even promote it too hard. We were just, doing this more as the pod and just getting something up there. So this has been cool. And Johnny hopping on here with me is phenomenal. I'm digging this because he's got a lot of good insight that I definitely could not bring to these feedback emails. Yes, we blasted through 6 out of the 9 so far, and I hope you guys are digging it. I hope you like what we're bringing it. And right now, you're gonna hear a little word from Axel. But so let's get back into it. We're here. You heard from Axel, little podcast commercial from cufflinks.com, and we'll jump into Howard's. Johnny, you want to do this one? You want to read
Yes,
this guy?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Howard, I really don't care for all of the Sunday morning quarterbacks who find issue with Arya being the one who finally killed the Night King. Agree. Even
Agreed.
the most casual viewer would have to admit that she has been preparing for this since season 1, episode 1. She was shown to be an expert marksman, albeit with a bow and arrow, in that episode, and over the years we have watched her training in the art of water dancing. ice, water dancing. Remember Sirio Farrell's directing her to be as quick as a snake and quiet as a shadow. My goodness, I was repeating that so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one may recall how she snuck up on John in episode 1 of season 8, in the exact location the Night King stood in episode 3. The observant viewer might also remember Arya sparring with Brienne last season and notice that the dagger dropped from one hand to the other that she successfully used against the Night King. And of course, 7 seasons ago, Syrio originally asked Arya, "What do we say to the god of death?"
Not
Not today.
today.
As for Melisandre, she reminded Arya she shut many eyes forever: brown eyes, green eyes, and blue eyes, which set her off to shut one final set of blue eyes forever. So please, haters gonna hate, but let's give Arya her due. She's the hero of this story. She's definitely a hero. That is, let's see, we've got some more here. I've all,
Yeah,
my bad.
he attached a picture. So you know what? Before we get to that, let's just talk about what he said about Arya, because I completely agree with everything he says. Up until the hero of the story part, she's definitely a major hero. I'm not sure of the story just yet. To this point, I could agree, but I feel like I got to leave room for that statement. But I don't know if you ever watched, say, like Kickboxer, right? John Claude Van Damme.
One of my
Uh,
favorite movies ever. Yes.
so then you might agree with me. The To me, better than the fight scene at the end is the training. I love the training. I loved him kicking the melon off the rope, kicking the tree, kicking with his shin, and doing the splits, and the rope pulling him. To me, like, that stuff is just as good as the fight stuff. Star Wars. I loved watching Luke on Dagobah. Now, I don't know if people agree with me. I don't know how you feel about that. Tying with Arya, I liked watching all the lessons she was learning. I loved it. People, I don't understand how people used to complain about the House of Black and White. Like, what could we do with her at that time? We saw tidbits, and each piece now we saw her use.
Well, the only thing I would say about the House of Black and White is that the reason people are mad is because it's super misrepresented from the book and show. The way that they seemingly sometimes have personal motivations, like the waif, that's completely out. I would just say it was reduced, and I enjoyed everything leading up to that more, especially Hound and Arya. I don't hate the House of Black and White, but it's not what I wish it was. Even though it's still pretty good up until you get to Terminator Wife, which is ridiculous to have a faceless man running down the middle of the street saying, "Hey, look at me! I'm about to kill this person." That makes no sense. Other than that, I loved how Arya took her out with the candle in the darkness, leaving everyone to think Arya is the waif now. The wife must be an awesome person because she's just doing all these good deeds for Arya in the name of Arya. But
That's a
I
funny.
agree that she's like the star of the show in general. She's the epitome of an assassin, a lone wolf. Yeah, she has a pack, but if you've watched everyone she's gotten close to has died. That's why everybody's like Gendry's gonna get Storm's End. Maybe he's got to live first, but we'll see what happens here. He already got his little heart broken. That's another one. Is Gendry just gonna stay in Winterfell while Arya's down in King's Landing?
No, no, he's got a place to go look after, figure out how to take care of. But here's something, a continuity error, which I heard today on a podcasts with our good buddy Roberto and Abe, and when Danny was giving Gendry his title, she called him Gendry Rivers.
Yeah, it should be Waters.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit! Like the same episode that they leave a cup in,
It's
like
like a minute later that the cup was
yeah,
there.
like and that makes me a little nervous for wanting a solid finish. Just for that, like I hadn't heard anybody say to this point, and I feel like that's like something people would have jumped on normally. But I think like people's mind is so focused on getting what they want that they're not noticing these little things. But like that to me is like I don't know. I hope it's not a trend of like slipping up because I saw a couple things. I read something today that like I think it was from last season. It's not a spoiler, but like when HBO approached Dan and Dave, they said that um, we'd like to continue and keep going, and they said no, we want to cap it off. So either they, you know, it was them being tired, they didn't give a reason, or they had a finish for the story. So if it's them being tired of it, which I could very well understand, I just hope they're not like, let's get this over with because they did have 2 years to make this shit.
Mm. Yeah, they did. They took their damn sweet time about it, and I could definitely complain about that. But wasn't it just Danny that called him that? That could
Yeah,
be
it was. It was Danny. We could write.
accentuating Danny's naivety about the situation. Um, but more than likely, it's just a continuity error.
Yeah.
And it's really, I hate to see that. What happened to Ghost this season is bad. Is bad. You're gonna put him in the front lines, and he just runs into darkness. Okay. Um, he lives. Doesn't even get a pet from John. So much as a pet. I feel like they're deliberately trolling us with that. Uh, but
it's
Ghost
the
may play into the big deal here
it's
because
the
I don't
go
think he's gonna live, unfortunately.
it's the gopher from Caddyshack.
Yeah.
All right. So with Howard's email, Howard wrote, I've also attached a photo showing how I supported your great sponsor, cufflinks.com. I posted it on Twitter to DJ and Axel. I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten from folks noticing that pin. So I'm going to show you right now. That's what he got from cufflinks.com, our presenting sponsor. And, I wanted to share it with you guys on YouTube who's looking. I hope you guys dig it. And I hope you get over to Cufflinks. And don't forget, if you come over to the fan roundtable show, I do give one away every week. So I have two left because there's two more episodes left. A hand of the kingpin or queen, however you want to wear it. All right. So yeah. So yeah, you want to get in on the roundtable this week. Last week I gave it to someone in the chat. I forget how. Oh, last week I wrote them on little pieces of paper and folded up all the names of people in the chat, and I gave it. The one week I gave it to, what was it, the first person who said something? I forget what word I wrote down. I got my notes all laying around me here. This one was 1 week. It was caller 6, so it was the sixth person who called. Yeah, so I'm switching it up, but we got that. It's a nice, real nice pin. But yeah, they make good stuff. All right, so we got another email here. This is from Dave. Um, hey guys, I've been listening to the podcast. I really appreciate you guys not bashing the show like everyone else on Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and any other outlet you could possibly find. Everybody thinks we're lazy and me and my friend can't write. We're very tired of it, and we just want to say we thank you guys for being positive and keeping with us. We'll give you guys something good in the next 2 episodes. Sincerely, Dave Benioff. Wow, that was cool. I appreciate that, Dave. We'll try to do that for you. What a guy.
We don't have much of a choice, but I hope so. I hope so. This next one's going to be a doozy, I think, honestly. And we'll get the Dream of Spring in the last one. And I don't think we're going to see this tidy wrap up where everybody gets their little castle and somebody's clearly sitting the Iron Throne. I think it's going to be pretty devastating.
What would be fantastic if someone just comes up and knocks whoever takes it, knocks the Iron Throne over and puts a cushion like on a chair. Like, what the fuck are you sitting on this iron uncomfortable throne for?
Oh my gosh, it's like 100 foot tall in the book. That's ridiculous. Oh my man,
They put
man.
one in New York City in Rockefeller Center where they put the giant Christmas tree every year. For 4 days right before the first episode, they put a gigantic chair. You couldn't sit in it; was too big to even get to. But it was awesome to see. I didn't see it live, but I saw it on the news. Pretty cool.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, come sit down in there.
Yep.
um,
All right, so let's get back to this feedback. We got number 8 here. We got our 8th feedback contributor. It's Brett. Brett has written in, and he wrote, "We haven't yet had a battle that ended in a legitimate all-out retreat. Suppose Cersei and the Golden Company ultimately swamp our allied forces, and Euron squeezes Yara's fleet out of the Iron Islands. If they escape in time, Yara could ferry what's left of Daenerys' army out of King's Landing and out of Westeros entirely and back over to Essos. Daenerys would feel utterly distraught. If Drogon dies, she's the mother of dragons without any dragons. If Jon dies, or if he leaves her to return north, she's lost him too. Just when she thinks she has lost everything she's ever known, she sees what's waiting for her in Essos, the place where it all started for her. Dario 2.0 has not only maintained the peace in Meereen, but has helped build a union of free cities based off her renowned reputation, a union that is expanding. The breaker of chains has returned, and the news of Dragon Queen's heroism during the long night has spread to the common people and has only added to her legend as a savior. She is protector of the realm, a new realm. Just when she thinks all is lost, she realizes where home is, and that's where she's been beloved, the queen, all along."
I would say this, unfortunately, this generation will not know what she did during the long night. No one in King's Landing knows. No one in the rest of Westeros knows, unfortunately. That's just between them and the writers of A Song of Ice and Fire. At the end of this, I think that's why Sam and Bran are going to get to doing some writing in Winterfell. But as far as an all-out retreat, I don't know if we're going to see that. You got Dany wanting the biggest thing we got, right, was Euron destroying that fleet, don't you think? And them basically washing up on shore. Do you think, I don't know, do you see them retreating or falling on their swords? Do you think they'll retreat?
What Brett wrote is really cool. I like it. This does not fit in anything we've been led to believe to this point, either within what's been written by George, his style of writing, or the show. It just seems this is way more tidy than we were even talking before. It's cute what would happen. I always thought that, like, I would have never left Essos. Like, I like the warmth. I mean, nobody's fucking around over there. Like, I never saw the desire. There's no like crazy mineral or like some kind of natural element they need to get from Westeros that is so pertinent to be there. She's just doing it because it's what she's told she was supposed to do. Like, to me, that's dopey. So I would like to see her go and do this and go back to Meereen. Like, that's cool. Like, she saved all those people and freed people, and like that should have been enough. And the fact that she wanted more and put more people's lives at risk kind of is shitty for her own personal gain. Like, because it wasn't like when she becomes the queen of Westeros and the Seven Kingdoms that now she's going to expand and be the queen of the whole globe. Like, it just seems doesn't seem like what she's seeking. So to see like that whole thing of leaving would be cool, but I would have did it last season or not even came at all. So I don't want to shoot you down, Brett, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Johnny?
I mean, that there was a possibility of maybe Dario coming back, flipping the Golden Company. I don't think we're gonna see that now, but he is there. That's someone that she loved. She was supposed to have feelings for and didn't, and it actually scared her. This goes back to the throne being the ring from the Lord of the Rings. They're both the same. They corrupt all who chase it, all who cherish it. And this is confirmed through the show and the books. That's why Danny's having such a problem. That's why she couldn't get comfortable. Plus, that's not her home, even though she never remembered anything from Westeros. Westeros is her home in her mind. It's something that Viserys, right, that just smashed that into her head, smashed all these dreams into her head. That's kind of where it started off with her brother. It would be nice if she could do that, but I honestly don't even see Danny surviving.
I I don't either, but I don't want to say that, but it's tough. But it is. I mean, she's so fixated, but like home really is where you make it. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Like when uh I forget which email we were talking about before. Um, but it was someone had brought it up. Like, I forget it. I forget which email it was. But either way, like why is she so fixated on this as her home? Like I said, like I can't figure out what's so important there. She doesn't even have family there. Oh, she does now, but um, you know, I, I don't know. I wouldn't have even left Karth. Like that shit was nice over there. Like she just had to keep moving along.
Yeah, she's a conqueror. She's a lot like Aegon the Conqueror. You can't pin her down to one historical figure, but you can definitely say she's a lot like Aegon. Once she got here, that kind of has seemingly changed. She can go down a few different historical Targaryen routes. Um, a happy ending for Dany's going to be tough here too. Even though I think she will get the recognition she deserves, but it will be after death, like so many great people in real life that we know today that don't get the recognition they deserve till after they perish. Right? We kind of are already seeing it because no one knows that they saved the entire world or in the entirety of Westeros anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I said that a couple weeks ago. I don't think it was on the pod, but like maybe his discussion with my friend. Like Cersei, even though she saw the thing, she wasn't sold. The in the Valerian wood box, the white, she wasn't sold still. She's like, whatever. Then she thought they would all get wiped out from them. She told Bronn, if my brothers survive this, which they probably won't, just kill them, right? So then, like, if she hears, even if she just heard they had this big war with these things and Arya Stark killed it, she's gonna think it was even less significant. Like, okay, a young little girl, because she doesn't know Arya's anything about Arya. We know what Arya is. She doesn't know. She think she. All right, it's a young little girl who's from a high lord family. Like so, it would be so like not a story you'd even tell people. Like, ooh, whoop de doo. Like, all right, they fought this thing, but we saw it and we were like, holy fuck! Like, this is massive. Like, this is crazy. And until the word of mouth starts spreading, which it won't because they're holding forces, it's not like you know, they're like, all right, we're going to go just talk to some people, spread the word. There's no like Pied Pipers. So once the dust settles, then they can start telling these stories. So it can be very downplayed that they like mean nothing.
Yeah, if a bunch of Canadians came down, shout out to all my Canadian co-hosts that are on my channel, and they
Yeah,
start
Jim from
talking about
Canada.
the long night that happened, and they don't have video evidence, are you gonna believe them?
Exactly.
I
Like
wouldn't.
if I didn't see Rob Ford, the ex mayor of Toronto, flip out on crack on video, I wouldn't have believed it. But I have video. Yeah, Canada. Oh shit.
I take a
So
think of Terrence and Phillip every time.
yo, listen, thank you, Terrence and Phil. So you'll get this. I've been saying I really want a remix or so. Like I'm not that great at graphic design, but someone to maybe do a quick video and Terrence and Phillip singing "Shut Your Fucking Face, Nephew Fucker" to Danny. To Danny. Every time like Danny makes it like she'll come up and be like, "Have them killed." They come up on the screen. Shut your nephew fucker. That'd be
Oh my
perfect.
gosh.
It'd be so perfect. That I think maybe me and Gina were talking about it. We talk about maybe having an animated episode. But
Oh
yeah,
god.
somebody.
Uh,
Oh shit. But no, this has been some good feedback. I got one more and I'm gonna
sir.
get to. Before I get to that one, I'm gonna ask you. I know you've been tuckered out. You talked a whole shit ton on your channel and other channels with people. You got any feedback?
Oh, I got feedback for this episode. That what you want?
Well, yeah, if you want to,
From
anything you
me?
want to get out before, we
Yeah.
got a couple
So,
days left.
all right. Animal treatment aside, I really enjoyed this. Getting back to the Game of Thrones is something we all really love and that we've lost a little bit throughout kind of the end of season 7, beginning of season 8. It wasn't really that much courtly intrigue. Varys is back. Tyrion is starting to come back. He's admitting his fear to the Dragon Queen. That doesn't mean Dany's not can't be a good person. I'm not saying Dany's evil, but if you can't understand why she's a little bit paranoid, why she's a little bit dead set on something, like if you have spent your whole life, everything you've known, running from supposedly running from Robert Baratheon's hired knives as a kid, also your brother mistreating the living hell out of you, but also putting in your head that you are the last dragons, that the throne is yours and you're going to get it back someday. Then you're sold to a Dothraki horse lord. Then you go through all of that. Your brother dies, and you keep becoming ruler despite everyone. And now it's taken away from you. That one thing you've always aspired that was so close. It's taken away from you by birthright from a man to top it off. And they even pointed that out a couple of times. Varys talking about the man having the better claim. And that is a horrible reality of this world. And I just love how real it gets. I think she will overcome it. A woman will overcome it at the end of this. I think that's going to be the powerful thing here because they're setting us up for a dude, and I think Sansa's been the younger, more beautiful queen the whole damn time.
If
Queen training camp.
if I could just add to that real quick, the when Varys does say that about the cock thing, and then uh, Tyrion says, oh, Joffrey had it, didn't matter, and Varys is like, but it does matter. You could almost see Tyrion's heartbreak because he knows that's true, and he was so sad because he wants to believe so hard in Danny. He wants it so hard. He finally found something that he can cling to that feels real and seems real, and then like to hear that is like, damn, another shot in the belt, like below the belt, like damn, it's like, you know, it is a fucking terrible, harsh reality, and we have these sick, not sick as in ill, but like these strong women who are from Kat with her planning and her being able to navigate the world, and Cersei and her, right, even though we think she's a little nutty for the way she's ruling, she's strong. Dany's strong. We have all these strong women, and yet like when like the mass population looks up, like they don't like understand, like there's a first queen, like people don't like it, and they think it's weird, and like they wouldn't like at I believe it was the last meeting with the three slavers and Marine. Oh no, I'm sorry, when Missandei, what was his name? Krasnus, the one who had
Yeah.
Missandei. What like he wouldn't even talk, like look to her, like she was like irrelevant. Like they like almost like look past you, and that's almost a typical, you know, hopefully old school male trope, and it bleeds through in our world. And you know, hopefully we're making strides, and we want to see, you know, this change, you know, of a normal story where, you know, the man hero saves everything, and then we get that, and it's like, ugh, you know, back to getting hit with reality. So like we're still poised for a lot of women to do something right here. So, but it
Mhm.
just, you know, we have to keep coming back to reality.
Well, I mean, Cersei rules. She was the Dowager Queen. She actually forced herself into that rule. But you see, she's having to force herself to wed Euron. Like she can't even escape it at this point, and he's weaseling his way in. If they get married, which holy crap, red wedding, could we see a Cersei Euron marriage right here, man? If they win a battle, I
Wow.
don't mean to bring up more stuff.
With Arya Stark Catering, she makes the best pies.
I like that. I like that.
Look,
Yeah.
we got fanfic coming right off the top here.
That could be how Arya tries to kill Cersei the mountain, freaking backhands her across the room. And then you just go at it. You know, I wouldn't. It's gonna be hard. The only person that's gonna be hard to get in, sneak into King's Landing is the Hound. There are instances in the books and in the show where he's used a hood, but I don't know if he could get away with it here.
Listen, if Bronn could sneak into Winterfell with a gigantic crossbow,
Yeah, might as well.
anything's possible at this point.
Did you think he was gonna accidentally shoot Jamie? I thought we were gonna have an accidental death right there with Bronn and the crossbow. I was waiting for it to slip and him to kill Jamie the whole
I
time.
just wanted him to just get it over with, because now, like, to me, that just like was a useless scene. Like, I love Bronn, I love his wit, I love what he did, you know, this whole way through. Even, you know, helping Tyrion, which is against his like kind of thing. Like, he was a sellsword, but you know what? I'll help your brother, even though a little money. He was getting all these promises, and I don't know. I can't see him turning bitter. I feel like he had nothing to before that. So if he lost all this shit, he would just walk away like, whatever. I'll just fucking kill somebody and take their castle. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. It didn't seem like Bronn. So like, either that or I said on the round table, maybe it was something cryptic. The way he was being was a cryptic message.
Yeah, I feel like Pod's gonna kill Bronn. Going back to when he said, I told you you were fucking." You know what he's talking about, Brienne, but Pod was out there and he snuck up on Pod and said, "Are you gonna let old sellsword, sneak up on you?" And then they had a little lesson there. Um, Pod's gonna have to do something, I think, and him saving. He's already saved Tyrion, but I think he's gonna have a little fight somewhere. Might not be Bronn anyway. He could have. Bronn could be that hooded figure as well that we've seen with the Golden Company. I know he's having to go back and forth, but he's going to place himself in an opportune position. He's probably with John's army, not up in Winterfell. But I'm rambling now, so let's.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I'm thinking about Bronn, and like Bronn's almost like a Dario, and like I'm
Yeah.
thinking about how like their carefree like attitude like got them to survive so long. Maybe he made the right move, but all right, you know what? I'll catch you guys after this, and he just went along his way. But I don't know. It's a weird scene. But our good buddy Matt Murdock jumped in the chat, and he said Bronn has always been a representation of man's greed, nothing more.
He outlived this plot line long ago. I agree with you.
Yeah, but well, this also shows more greed, like, you know, and then when we have love in Jamie's mind and almost like love in Tyrion's mind, you know, Tyrion, I think more the love of the ruler instead of like a love of loving Dany, like a romance.
Yeah, he clearly
And
still loves Sansa.
yeah, it seemed that way, or you know, gained more love for her by going through that traumatic experience. But all right, so while we got Matt in the chat, I got
Oh
answers
yeah.
to one of his questions that he sent me on Facebook. So I put the thing out. You know, we're doing the feedback, and I put it on Facebook, Twitter. Axel tweeted it, and you know, people sent some great stuff, and Tommy sent the question on Facebook, and Matt hit me up with something cool. I like this a lot. I'm gonna read you what he wrote. I want the DJ Tim Hines take on jams. What's on the following characters' music list in their phones if they lived in the real world? Daenerys, Arya, and Varys. I love it, Matt. That this shit made me like, I don't know. I was thinking all day. I'm at work. I'm like, this song. I got songs crossed off on the list. I was looking shit up. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's better. I like that. No, I like that song. And you know me, if anybody doesn't, I'm a connoisseur of music, and some might know me to play parties and do a little DJ work here and there. So I know music pretty well. So I'm gonna answer it as if I was gonna do like a playlist, what's in their playlist, but I picked 3 songs off their iPod that they got. So I'm gonna start with Daenerys. So the first song Daenerys got queued up is Nas, "If I Ruled the World."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. All right, the next one she's got queued up. It's a oldie but goodie. Carly Simon, "You're So Vain." Probably think the show is about you. You're so vain. All right, and the next one is for her lost children. She likes to cry to this one. This is Bette Midler's classic, "The Wind Beneath My Wings."
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Hold
Oh, fly, fly. All right, yeah, Matt, I love this. This is one of my favorite things all season that you gave me this assignment here. The next up, we got top 3 from Aria. All right. So in Arya's playlist, she got the earbuds in while she's playing her Assassin's Creed, moving around, and she couldn't. Now she's on the King's Road. She can't stand listening to the Hound anymore. So she got the earbuds in, and she's listening to Gary Jules' "Mad World." It's a mad world.
on. These are good, man. These are really good.
All right, and then that song ended. Right, that they just crawled up next to the fire. The Hound is snoring like a son of a bitch, and she's like, "Oh, I need something to go to sleep." So she puts in the earbuds again. Now she's listening to Simon and Garfunkel's "I Am a Rock." I am an island.
I love Simon and Garfunkel. I feel
Yeah,
so corny for saying that, but whatever.
yo, it's not corny. I'm glad you know these jams, and you get the significance. And that then she wakes up and she's like, "All right, we're gonna make breakfast. I want to hear something good." She puts on Billy Idol, "Eyes Without a Face." Yeah, Arya's got the jams. And then Varys. Varys is a cool, smooth dude. Varys is like, listen, I spend a lot of time shifting around. I had to be on a boat with Tyrion in a crate made of Valerian wood. So, I gotta put my thing and see what I got into my playlist. So Varys puts his thing on first. He's got Carlos Santana with Jingo.
Ooh.
Yeah, Varys likes to chill. He's like you got that little soul vibe going. And then next up, Miles Davis. So what?
Ooh.
He likes
Smooth.
likes that jam. He likes that long track. And then finally, the third track on the playlist, Cisco Kid's War. I mean War's Cisco Kid.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, man. That was a fun little thing. I like that. Matt, I appreciate that. I appreciate you turning it into some music back my way, and definitely not asking me to break down any kind of themes or the score of the show, because that's your job and you're the man at that. But this has been a fun feedback. We got great submissions from a lot of people, and if anybody got one in late and we missed it, I apologize. But get one in next week. Or come on the in the chat on YouTube for the roundtable on Monday. I'm going to be giving away the Hand of the King Queen pin. Um, I got 2 guests so far lined up. Got room for a couple more. Hit us up, podcastwinterfell@gmail.com if you want to get in. Keep it kind of small, maybe 3, 4, 5 guests. A couple weeks ago we had 8 people in there. It was a little bit much, but I had fun still. Everybody had fun. But we want to, maybe get everybody a little more talk time, a little more air time. And the deets. Hit us up, dvrpodcast.com, podcastwinterfell.com, Winterfell Pod on Twitter, and Podcast Winterfell on YouTube. One word on YouTube, no space. So come on there. Thanks to everybody in the chat here. Matt, Joey Mova, Johnny Be Crazy. Oh, wait, that's you. I'm looking at it right here. I'm like, wait. Yeah, we had Big E was in the house, Fandom D Saint.
Hey,
Amanda
Pac Mule
came.
was in here too, I think.
Pack Mule came in. Oh man, this is great. I can't scrolling all the way up now, but this is a lot of fun getting on the YouTubes. We like this over here, and we're getting into it. It's something we're expanding the platforms. And Johnny, thank you having a pro on, to guide me here.
Yeah, man, I'll make you come on my channel, man. Johnny Be Crazy. Go check it out Mondays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. While you're at work, be bad. Listen to us talk about Game of Thrones and all other stuff. I won't even get into it here, but yeah, I appreciate it, man. I do want to give you one song for Varys, "Creep" by TLC. I think that's a pretty good one.
Yes, I'm writing it down to the list because I'm going to actually make this playlist.
Dude, you should do that. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I gotta see that list.
Yeah, see, like Baelish would have easily had "Creep" from Radiohead, but that would have been too easy. Oh man, creepy finger. This has been a good show, man. Johnny, I really appreciate you doing this with me, coming on Podcast Winterfell, and I hope we see you on here more, and I hope we do crossovers more. And it's cool, everybody merging these different communities and fandoms that we each have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't thank you enough for having me on, and thank you so much to everyone in the chat. Yeah, Johnny Be Crazy everywhere, literally. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. Don't know what else to say other than this was freaking awesome. Honestly, it was a very good chat.
Yeah, this was fun. Definitely got me amped up. I'm excited for Sunday night, and I'm gonna close it out. Valar Morghulis.
Barada Harris, if I said that right.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, man. That was good. Thank you. Got to figure
I
out how to.
appreciate it, man. We're still live.
Yeah, we're still live.
I
I'm just trying to get to the
farted. Oh, I mean, sorry.
Axel. Axel's got the reins right now.
He'll come back. That was y'all are awesome with that feedback. Fantastic feedback. That was some great.
Yeah, it really was. Right now, right now I'm gonna text Axel to shut the video because he ran it from his shop. So once he does that, we'll be off. But right now we're still live. So yeah, but we could keep talking about the feedback. But yeah, there was really good feedback. We get a lot of feedback from a lot of different people, and I mean, this was no difference. This is like, maybe one or two normal contributors, but like the rest is all a lot of fresh stuff and a lot of great points, a lot of good questions. And it was nice having you here because you have the book insight. And at this point, I don't really anything from the book that I learn from here on out that's told to me. I don't consider it a spoiler because it's just enhances it to me. Now it's almost as like a lore. It's almost a history book because we're past that that state in the book.
Yeah, it's you got to read them whenever you get a chance. It's a really good. You'll get sucked into it too. All these first person character views, the way it's completely different, the way people see things. You'll even notice like, oh, that's got to be a rumor because I saw in the last chapter through this point of view this happened. But then it starts going downhill. You see that game of telephone like you're talking about, but you get this very unique perspective. It gives Germ a little acts as a wiggle room as well. Makes it harder and easier at the same time because you can play around with the story, given its history and the winner's right, right history. So also, yeah, I think it's. eh, I think he's waiting for When's the Winner to come out. I saw something that they said he was going to not, possibly not finish the series, but I think he may be trolling us. But he may not make it. He may just be a realist right now. you know, it's a lot of books, and it's been a while. And we've had all this show. I've had people just making theories and theories. And if you're ever writing, it's hard to keep writing something and feel confident in yourself, especially if you've seen a lot of people have predicted it. That would be crazy. I wouldn't know how I would deal with it, but I think he'll get it done. I think he'll get it done. If not, we'll get some compilation of his notes at some point because he's got a lot of it written. He just hasn't got it condensed, in my opinion. He's
Me
one
and
of those overwriters.
me and my friend Kara, we were talking, and we think that somehow he made a deal with like HBO, and it's like some kind of secret ploy that they're like waiting. They're gonna time everything out. You know how like there's a 5-year plan or whatnot. And they got it cranked out, ready to. All right, we're gonna release the book, and we're gonna do this, and you're gonna get this much bonus because you waited for us, or who knows. But I don't really trust anybody, and this guy's, he's sneaky, and he likes being sneaky, and he has all this attention now, and I feel like he loves it.
Well, he's a notorious troll. He'll play around with us, and but he's fun. I don't know if you've ever been to his Not a Blog, but it's fun to read that. And he's a good Twitter follow too. He doesn't really spoil anything. He just makes these funny little comments and then shouts people out. It's pretty good.
Cool, man. All right, you know
All right,
what? I'm gonna just hang up here. We'll end the call
let's
on
do
YouTube
it.
this way because I don't know where Mr. Foley is, but it's been a good time. And again, thanks a lot, Johnny. Hopefully we'll talk off air, and we'll set something up for the future.
Yes, sir. I will be in touch, my friend.
All right, peace out.